there, welcome back. Dr. Denise Dart here. If you've been watching my series on boundaries and you've given a boundary a try with a toxic person, you have probably started to figure out that no matter what you say, no matter how well you express yourself, the narcissistic abuser is intent on making you think that they don't get your point, that they don't hear your point. Remember, these relationships are all about control. There's an imbalance of power. If you start to get to the truth in a narcissistically abusive relationship, the craziness just begins to get worse. So don't be discouraged. Boundaries are not intended to change somebody else's behavior. They're intended to protect you. And when you're in a relationship that is invalidating you, where you are being put down, screamed at, called names, where your very perception and reality is twisted through gaslighting, all of these tactics just really chip at your self-esteem and your soul over time. And so it becomes really important that inside you begin to recognize you are the one who can build up your self-esteem. You are the one who can advocate for yourself and to speak your truth. And that's what you're doing with a boundary. So expect, if you're with a narcissistic or a dark triad kind of personality, when you start to set a boundary, when you stand up to them a little bit, their behavior is likely to get worse. I do not work with physical abuse per se, but any relationship that is emotionally abusive has the possibility of crossing over to physical abuse. If you are being threatened at all physically, if somebody is getting in your space, pushing up against you, you need to contact the domestic violence services in your area. Make sure you have a safety plan, make sure you've got a go bag, and that you are ready to take care of yourself and your children if you have children. Otherwise, expect that the verbal abuse may escalate. So when you say, when you set a boundary, you describe what you see, what you hear. It is observable behavior. So when you came in and you slammed the door and you didn't look at me, I felt, and a feeling is one word per feeling. Obviously, you can feel multiple things. I felt sad, confused, angry, whatever it is, one word per feeling. If you find yourself saying, I felt like you, then you're talking about something entirely different, your thoughts and your perceptions. So think about observable behavior. When you did this, I felt this. That's the first part of a boundary. The second part of a boundary is letting the person know where the line is, what you will do if this person does this again. And again, it's not a threat, it's not an ultimatum. Think of it as, here's the relationship. You're not pressing in, you're not trying to force this narcissist to do something they don't want to do. That isn't going to work. You are taking a step back to a safer place, emotionally and perhaps physically. All right, so come back again. We'll talk some more about boundaries. Take it slow. One thing we know about a narcissistic abuser is that when you try to advocate for yourself or set limits, they'll try to squash you even harder. All of this is information to you. If you are in a relationship like this, it's very confusing, and I want you to make mental note, if not a physical note, in a safe place so that you can remember when you try to care for yourself, it gets worse. In a healthy relationship going through a tough patch, when you try to care for yourself, when you set a boundary, it helps things to get better. So remember, I've been where you are. I'm here to help. If you go to my website, there's lots of resources there, one-to-one coaching, small group coaching. Check it out. There's a link below. I'll look forward to seeing you back in a couple of days as we continue to explore boundaries in a relationship.